Hi, welcome to the Magic of Math, where we master math one video at a time. Today, we're going to review the subtraction rules. We're going to first review negative subtract a positive. So our rule to subtract is we change subtraction to addition and add the opposite value. So in this video today, I'm going to present you with 12 different problems. We're going to do the first one together, and then I'm going to ask you to pause and use the subtraction rule as a no-fail option. So if you can embrace this rule, I promise you, you will find success. So here's the rule. We're going to change subtraction to addition and add the opposite value. So my students refer to it as keep, change, opposite. We keep our first number the same. We change our subtraction sign to addition, and we take our last value that follows the subtraction sign and we change it to be the opposite. And now we have the first value, add the opposite, which is -4. Now we only need to review our addition rules. So if you need to go back to that video, go ahead and review adding rules, but now we're just going to add. So because both values have the same sign, we are going to keep the sign. Making my plan, they're both negative, my answer will be negative. So now I can focus on just adding the absolute values, which are both positive 7 plus 4, and I have -11. So make a plan. Your turn. Use the keep, change, opposite rule. Pause now and come back when you're done. Welcome back. So here we are. We're going to keep, change to addition, and add the opposite. Let's rewrite it. You should rewrite it on your paper. -6.7, add -4.1. They both are negative. My plan is my sum will be negative as well. So let's line these decimal points up. We line the decimal point up when we add. 7 plus 1 is 8. Bring down that decimal point, and 6 plus 4 is 10. Remember, we made our plan, and we're all ready for 10.8, and our answer is -10.8. If you have not grabbed paper and pencil yet, now's a great time to pause the video and get some. So you are going to pause now anyway and find the difference, which means subtract. Go ahead and pause. Welcome back. So let's do our keep, change to addition, and write the opposite. So we're keeping -1/3, changing subtract to add, and our opposite of 7/10 is -7/10. They have the same sign. Make my plan. It will be negative. If they have the same sign, we keep it. Now we can add the absolute values. But I need to have a common denominator. So the least common denominator with 3 and 10 would be 30. 3 times 10 is 30, so I must multiply the numerator 1 also by 10. 1 times 10 is 10. Now let's change the second. 10 is going to become 30, which is times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Now that I have a common denominator, I'm going to add my numerators. 10 plus 21 is 31. 31/30ths, and remember it's negative because I made my plan. So I did not forget to add my negative sign. If you answered -1 and 1/30th, I would accept that as well. Now we're going to review positive subtract a negative. Here's one for you. Pause the video. Let's see how you do. Come back when you're done. So we're going to use our same rule. Keep, change, opposite. Anytime you see subtraction. So keep the 3, change subtract to add, and the opposite of -2. Keep, add, opposite of -2 is +2. Now, 3 plus 2, it's 5. Go ahead, pause the video now, subtract. Remember, keep, change, opposite. Welcome back. So we're going to keep 3.7, change subtract to add, and the opposite of -1.8. We rewrite it, 3.7, add, +1.8, because that's the opposite of -1.8. They're both positive. My plan is my answer will be positive. So let's go over here and line up our decimal points. 7 plus 8, 5, it's 15, so 5, carry the 1, bring down the decimal point. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And there you have your answer, 5.5. Your turn. Rewrite it using keep, change, opposite. Go ahead and pause. Welcome back. So we're going to keep 1/2, change subtract to add, and write the opposite of -6/7. 1/2, add, positive 6/7. Our plan is it's going to be a positive answer because both values are positive. We need a common denominator. The least common denominator with 2 and 7 would be 14. 2 times 7 is 14. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 6 times 2 is 12. So we keep our denominator, add our numerators. 7 plus 12 is 19 over our denominator of 14. And our answer, we made our plan, so our answer is 19/14. If you answered 1 and 5/14, I would also accept that. Now let's review positive, subtract, positive. Same rule, keep, change, opposite. We're going to keep 5, change, subtract to add, and write the opposite of 9. Notice that if you circle these values, it takes all the guesswork out and you don't even need to think, you just need to do. 5, add, the opposite of 9 is -9. Now I have 2 different signs, so I need to decide what my sign's going to be. So I take the absolute values. 9 is the largest absolute value, so this sign is the answer's sign. So we're going to make our plan, it's going to be negative. So now we're going to take our largest absolute value, 9, and we're going to subtract our smaller absolute value, 5. 9 subtract 5 is 4. So my answer is -4. Think about money. If you owe somebody $9 and you pay them back 5, you still owe them $4. So think of negative money as buying or borrowing. Your turn. Pause the video, come back when you're done. Welcome back. We're going to keep the 2.8, change, subtract to add, and write the opposite of 7.9. 2.8, add, and the opposite of 7.9 is -7.9. And here's my plan. The absolute value of 7.9 is larger than the absolute value of 2.8, so I know my answer is going to be negative. 2 different signs. We're going to take our larger absolute value and subtract our smaller. 9 subtract 8 is 1. Bring down our decimal point. 7 subtract 2 is 5. So, good thing I made my plan. Don't forget that negative, 5.1. Your turn. Go ahead and pause. Welcome back. So we're going to keep 5/7, change subtract to add, and write the opposite of 7/8. 5/7, add, -7/8. 2 different signs. I'm not really sure by looking at this which one's larger or which one's smaller. So let's go ahead and get a common denominator first. So our common denominator for 5/7 is going to be 7 times 8 is 56. 5 times 8 is 40. Now we're going to change this one. We're going to get a common denominator of 56. 8 times 7 is 56. 7 times 7 is 49. So now that they have a common denominator, I can compare. The absolute value of -49/56 is +49/56, which is larger. So I know that my answer is going to take on the sign of the larger absolute value. 2 different signs. Take our larger absolute value, subtract our smaller absolute value, and keeping our denominator when we subtract, 49 subtract 40 is 9. And there's your answer, -9/56. Now let's review negative, subtract, negative. Your turn. Pause the video and come back when you're done. Welcome back. So we're going to use our keep, -1, change to addition, and add the opposite. So keeping -1, add the opposite of -6 is +6. I have two different signs. The larger absolute value is 6 and positive, so my answer is going to be positive. Take my larger absolute value, subtract my smaller, 6 subtract 1 is 5. My answer is positive 5. Try this one. Go ahead and pause. Welcome back. So keep -2.5, add the opposite of -5.8. So -2.5, add positive 5.8. I have two different signed values. The larger absolute value is 5.8, which is positive, so my answer will be positive. We're going to take our larger absolute value, 5.8, subtract our smaller, 8 subtract 5 is 3. Bring down your decimal point, 5 subtract 2 is 3. My answer is positive 3.3. Your turn. Go ahead and pause now and come back when you're done. Welcome back. So let's keep -3/5, add the opposite of -5/6. -3/5, add, and the opposite of -5/6 is +5/6. So I need to discover which one of these has the larger absolute value. So I'm going to get a common denominator first. So -3/5, we're going to get a common denominator of 30 between 5 and 6. 5 times 6 is 30. 3 times 6 is 18. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 5 is 25. So now I can compare. 25/30ths, the absolute value of that, is larger than the absolute value of -18/30ths. So I know that my answer is going to be positive. So I take my larger absolute value, subtract my smaller absolute value, and we have a common denominator, so we're going to keep our denominator. 25 subtract 18 is 7. So my answer is 7/30ths. And there you have it. There's your rule for subtracting. Change subtraction to addition and add the opposite value. Go ahead and circle to keep, circle to change, and circle to change to the opposite. Thanks for joining me today at the Magic of Math, where we continue to master math one video at a time. Have a great day.